Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you live from episode 30. Can you believe it? We're already at 30 of Life on the Rocks with your host, Connor LaRocque. Today's featured guest is a special one here today. One of my old friends from high school, Brent Boileau. How you doing, brother?
Fantastic, man. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Honestly, I got to say, it's a pleasure to have Brent on the show. For anyone who doesn't know him currently, Brent is actually part of the band called The Fortunate Losers. To get this started, I know it's in the middle of the afternoon. We started a little bit early here. What got you started in music, Brent? Let's talk about that.
As far as I can remember, man, being like 4 or 5 years old, my old man would always be blasting music day and night, watching music videos on TV, and I always imagine what that would be like. I want to be like that. Like, that seems like a cool life, cool job. Even as a kid, I'd ask, Ma, people would ask, how do you be a firefighter? How do you be a cop? I'd always ask, how do you be a rock star? How do you play music like that? So,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work yet.
Yeah, not really.
And yeah, I know that's not the life you did. So did you start? So for the Fortunate Losers, you're a bass player. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So your part's kind of keeping everybody in tone. Like, explain that to me for a second. Like, what's your job as a bass player when you're playing music, getting on with that?
Rhythm section, man. Hold it down, keep the groove, keep the vibe, the energy going too. The bass is the thunder, it's the energy. My job is to I like to keep people locked in, tuned in, and I like to keep the music locked in, tuned in as well.
No, absolutely. So I've had a number of musicians on the show now, and it's different to talk about different things. But your band specifically, so The Fortunate Losers, that's an interesting name. I like that.
Yeah, oxymoron.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who picked that? Seriously, who picked the name?
Man, that one came down to my singer, guitar player, Devin. We were just firing off names all over. We had other names, like Autumn Skies was an original band 10 years ago, and we wanted to have a new name. And he just texted me one day from rifling back and forth. Fortunate Losers. I thought, fuck, that's like Led Zeppelin almost, like oxymoron.
Yeah.
Like that works perfect, and it goes well with everything that we're about to. Oh, pardon me.
Oh, it's all good. We're
Pardon
live.
me,
This is
rude.
no, it's all good. He's caught a cold call coming in here. Client, just kidding.
Put it on hold.
yeah.
But yeah, and the name goes, like I said, with everything we're about. Fortunate. We're fortunate enough to be where we are. Canada, Sudbury, beautiful area, surrounded by lakes. What more do you want? Every opportunity to do what you want in life.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we picked the music industry, so we're not quite there, but we're working, right? It's like, it's a tough industry. People will look down on you like you're a loser.
No, exactly. Well, how do you push through that, Brent? I mean, like we were talking before the interview started, like how, if there's a lot of people, well, the music industry's saturated, there's too many people in there, you're just another band. Like, how do you break through the noise of that? When people are trying to bark in you and then all of a sudden, let's say you have a bad show, but then you have lots of good. Like, how do you get through that to kind of persevere as a musician in such a heavy market, in a saturated one in a sense?
It's the same as any other market almost. Like 30 years ago, people say, oh, it was a little bit easier maybe, but 30 years ago it was easier for... The population worldwide is still massive. The same thing with teachers. People trying to be a teacher. Good luck. It's tough. There's not many jobs. Or a firefighter. Like, it's oversaturated in so many markets, but if you work hard and stand out to somebody, they're going to notice you, and they're going to be into you. And hard work will get you anywhere. I believe in that. Like, work hard always, and don't just expect anything to be given to you. Like, nobody that I ever look up to or knew got where they got by quitting ever. So
Absolutely.
You won't see me quitting ever.
Exactly. You got to take a few punches of the mouth to get to that next level, right?
Just smile and wave as they're socking you.
No, exactly. I think that's something too, especially with our generation right now, Brent, that we're so exposed, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Everything you put out, like, it's like, okay, one day, let's say I go do a speech or you have a show, it's like we crap the bed, we do a really bad job, and all of a sudden people get to see that, you get reviews, you get rated on it.
Yeah.
For you guys as marketers primarily, like as a band, like what do you think is probably the most difficult aspect of your job as something? Is it the marketing piece? Like, what do you think as a musician? I want to change it up a bit here.
Marketing can be relatively easy because there's so much out there with social media, like
Definitely.
and it doesn't cost you much either because you put something up on Instagram and the whole world can see it. Facebook, Twitter, like so many people can see that. Financially, it can be tough. We just got off a 10-day tour, and
sounds awesome. A tour.
Yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun. Like one night we made $800, and then the second night we made $2.
Really? Yeah.
It's
wow.
Financially, it's tough. I made $2 in Toronto.
Yeah. It's one of those things you gotta like your
it.
passion. You killed it. I bet you did too. I would have probably paid, for $2, but How do you land these gigs? So like you're one of the bands I see around the city. You're one of the more prominent ones. Like you guys are out there way more than I've seen. You just played a show this weekend, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
So talk to me about that. What was this? Like this was
man.
at what was it? Not Summerfest.
Budweiser's New Music Fest by
it's huge.
hosted by Admiral Live. It's the second year in a row I get to play it. This year, absolutely topped it. Way more than last year. Like
really?
Significantly. Oh my god, yeah.
They feed you free drinks? No, I'm just kidding.
Sometimes they're nice. They got a beer fridge back there. They might say, have a couple. But.
So how many people partake in this event? Like I knew a lot of people that wanted to go. I'd see their Snapchats.
Yeah. It's a bigger one. Friday night they must have had anywhere from 500 to 800. They must have.
That's great.
And then Saturday sold right out. There was probably about 11 or 1200 people there, so it was a big one, man. It was awesome.
Did you play both nights, Brent?
Nope. Friday was the country, and Saturday was the rock night.
So you got to play the heavy night.
Yeah.
The busier night. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was sold lots of tickets too. Sold nearly 50, and
even tried Hustle Me for tickets. I loved it. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think, like as a musician? And I always want to ask this question for anyone that has to walk out in front of a stage. Like, do you have that fear? Like when you're sitting there on stage, never.
I live for it, man.
You're the opposite.
There could be 2 people. There could be 20 people. It could be 2,000 people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people showed up. Whoever showed up expects a show.
Exactly.
Give them a show. Simple as that.
I love that, honestly. I think that's huge. I think too many people, like, they have the fear of public speaking or just being on a stage in general. And you're the same as me when it comes to that. It's like, get me thousands. Like, you just want to walk into it.
You could throw me in front of 80,000 people and I just, okay, let's do it. Time and a place, I'll
get
be
your
there.
guitar out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you think as a bass musician? I want to ask some questions for that. Like, what is the hardest part about your gig? Like you said, you have to set the tone, kind of keep the rhythm, everything going.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be in time. You gotta be able to keep time. You gotta be able to have rhythm. If you mess up and play a wrong note, it's gonna be heard.
Yeah,
definitely, because bass is loud. It's low. It's
like me with my subwoofers back in the day.
It will be heard down the street. It will be heard. It's clear as day. Playing bass. Oh, I gotta deal with a lot of people like to grind my gears. I guess they say, "Oh, just a bass player, right?" So
yeah,
they bust your coconuts for that one, definitely, but it's all fun and games.
No, it's one of those things. Like going back to this for a second. So you guys, it's a three people in your group, right?
Yeah, 3-piece.
So you got someone on the guitar, someone on the drums, and someone on the bass.
Yeah.
And what is your primary music genre you guys play?
We're trying to bring back the '90s grunge era, man. Like we are a rock band, but we love personally like the '90s vibe that it had, just like the
culture.
The culture, and just the fact that it was those bands showed up, they did their job, and then that was that. They said take it or leave it. It was just a very raw, here we are in your face type.
No kidding.
How you would say? Well, genre, I guess. It's pretty well dead now, but if we can bring it back, then
that's a huge thing. Kind of happy. I was just on the phone with a client or someone we were dealing with trying to work something out for an app project, and he said that's the thing when you're going to pitch to venture capitalists or investors. They would always say they want to hear the pitch like, oh, we're coming in to disrupt the industry.
Yeah.
And that would probably be the primary case with what you guys are doing, correct?
Yeah.
Because on a kind of disrupt it a little bit, bring back what it used to be, but with your own kind of tone and sense of it, right?
Pretty well, yeah.
That's huge. How long have you been together, like as a band?
Just over 2 years. But I've been with Devin playing music for pretty well 5 now.
No kidding.
I think 2012 was when we first got together. But we've been through 3 projects together now. This is our 3rd, but Fortunate Losers is hands down the longest running.
That's it.
Just over 2 years, yeah.
It seems to be the most successful from now because I've heard about it, right? Like you see people actually hearing about you, fans.
Yeah,
you know
it's every day that I go by, if I can make one fan, then I'm doing my job, I guess. Like,
no, for sure.
I've noticed growth since day one. Yeah, I'm not quite where I'd like to be, but it's not going to happen overnight. But if I keep working hard, I will get there.
Definitely. Yeah. Are you guys are you going to do music? You have music videos, obviously. You have your footage. You have lots of stuff. Like
we have lots of footage, yeah, but we don't have a professionally set in stone music video yet. It's in the works right now. Like come October, we're leaving for 3 weeks to go to Toronto to finish our album. It'll be 12 tracks. And then we'll also finish our video while we're there too. Just get all the production aspects of the gig done. And they'll be all ready for the new year.
I think that's great. No, especially and you've how do you go about doing this? So obviously I think in the music industry is one of your goals to obviously you want to have a hit. You guys want to get a record deal. What's the game plan with this? Just out of curiosity as a musician.
The game plan is a lot of people will want that record deal, but nowadays labels it's changed, man. You got torrents, and back in the day you had LimeWire. You just rip everything off the internet, and that was that. But our goal specifically is to just be able to go anywhere in, let's say, I'm going to start small but big at the same time, North America. If I can go anywhere in North America and play to a bare minimum of 80 to 100 people each night, then that to me is a success, and I've made it. And
I think that's huge.
Well, I couldn't want anything more.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you've been, like, how many different places you've been? You've been to Toronto, like, you go to Toronto to play? Like, you just find certain bars? Do you pick up the phone and call these people, or?
They don't really like phone calls. They prefer email.
Okay, so
a lot
email
of the times, yeah. Usually the route to go is email, but if you build a good relationship with those promoters or those owners, you can call them up no problem and say, hey, it's me, so-and-so, or, you know, they'll know who you are. They'll have no problem talking to you.
How hard is it to get into something? Or go on, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say we've been as far east as Montreal, Quebec City, and as far west as Thunder Bay, and that is a drive.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, how do you get in? Like, do you have to send them a video, or do you just explain who you are? Like, how do you pitch these people to get in? Like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, as a musician, as a speaker, like, a lot of time you got to get out of bureau, or you have to call it. Like, if you're in school, you have to call, like, you have to get into these places, like, until you get to that point where you've built up a big enough repertoire, people find you, right?
It's very similar to just like a resume. You find out the contacts. Like, for instance, the Rivoli in Toronto. We just played there in September on the 2nd. You look them up, you find their email, you reach out to them. We are so-and-so, Fortunate Losers. We want this date. We just finished playing here and here. Here's some of our music. Here's also our Instagram. You can see what we've been up to, anything. Here's our website. Look at it. Get back to me if you like it. If not, then they most likely won't get back to you if they don't like it.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of follow-ups too, like the due diligence? Like,
you've got about.
I would keep following up. Like,
you got about 20 to 30 hours to get back to me, and if you don't, I'm just gonna hound you.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna like me.
You gotta put the circle.
You pretty well book me just to shut me up.
Yeah, leave me alone.
And I built a lot of good relationships like that too, like with Admiral Live. I sent them countless emails last year for New Music Fest, and like maybe even 12, 15, and finally, like 2 weeks before the show, they had one of the bands dropped out, and obviously the guy, who's the first guy he thought of? This kid who sent me 400 emails, I'll reach out to him, and that's what got me the festival last weekend too. You gotta hound people. If you reach out to somebody and they just don't get back to you, oh, okay, well,
that's it.
We're done. Call her a day. Can't do that.
No, you got to get out there. So when you argue, in a sense, I love asking this question because it's, we have a little bit of room here for something like, it's that hustle mentality. That's what's going to take it to that next level. I want you to talk to me about that. How that hustle mentality, like you've said, you've made those calls. Like, where a lot of people right now, there's a controversy. They're like, oh, it's not all about the hard work and the hustle and this and that. Well,
that's all it is.
Find me one person right now that's not hustling and that you see that's killing it out there. That's just sitting there laying back on the beach. Tell me a 25-year-old millionaire. Do you know any? Like, besides Bieber or one of the guys that are huge?
Maybe us in a couple weeks.
That's it. No, 100%. After this episode. We'll get a good gig there.
Get it.
But so you would say that, you would argue that it is that hustle mentality.
Yeah, man. It is. It's simple as that. It's like I said earlier, nobody got to where they got by not working hard or giving up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that inbred in you? Like, because I remember in basketball back in the day, we used to go to high school together, and like you were good. You were always hustling on the basketball court. Yeah. We were playing. I was LeBron James. That was the quote, right? but like LeBron the Rock, and I could never drain those threes though. But yeah, it's one of those things, right? Where that's what's been able to get you here now, right?
Well, I give a lot of that. I definitely saw that from my father growing up, because if there's one thing that he is definitely a hard worker, and I've seen that since day one in life. And I take that with me with my music. I take that with me with my work. I'm very fortunate to have the career that I have right now. It's not exactly what I'd like. My career goal would be music, but I'm still very fortunate to have my career. And
absolutely,
you work hard. Your bosses will recognize that. The reps recognize it, and you'll have a job. They'll call you. I'm just rambling right now.
No, not at all.
But I'm just a firm believer in hard work, 100%.
And that's one of the things, hard work trumps talent in that way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look at those guys, they probably had talent there, they dropped out, your hard work, bang, you're in that show on Newfest or whatever it was. Yeah. How many shows do you roughly play a month?
A month? We used to play, like last year, man, we would play anywhere from 3 to like 12. And then we more so this year focused on quality shows over the quantity of shows.
Yeah.
So, like September, we played close to 15 shows because of that tour that we had and the 2 festival slots that we have this month. So it's a busy September. But then we don't have anything till November. We have 4 shows in November, and then October there's nothing at all.
How do you feel at the end of the night after you've done a big show? It's been really loud. You see like a lot of drunk people and whatever in the crowd. Like, how do you feel at the end of that? Like it feels like a sense of accomplishment. It's like a bliss, a relaxedness. Like how do you feel?
It's like
Walk. I want to hear about that. It's good.
I couldn't even find the words to explain. Like I've had some good shows. I've had lots of people show up to certain clubs, and I've had shows where not many people show up at all, obviously. But when people come into anywhere like a townhouse, for instance, I've had some awesome nights there, and that's great. And like you just feel so high, like high on life, like you would say.
Yeah.
And it's nothing can bring you down. But last weekend, man, like over 1,000 people is just.
That sounds really. I honestly think that's great. The whole experience.
Couldn't find a word or ways. It's just I was like 4,000 feet high in the air. I'm still high on life right now thinking about it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this weekend. I got another one coming up, and it's just
really. Where are you playing this weekend?
London Feast Fest. That's also with Admiral Live.
Really, another big one too.
Yeah.
Is it like so when you're playing? Okay, so I like to get this through. So is it like a mind-body connection? Are you just kind of go into the zone? Like, are you full on focus? Like thinking, like what is it like as a musician? Like especially in your case, right? You got to keep the tone, everything kind of moving.
Yeah.
Like how do you like what's going on in your brain while you're playing this? I want to walk through like the psychology behind it.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
You're right off. Just
yeah. It's the only time in a day where I'm literally thinking of absolutely nothing.
Really?
My brain is empty because it's just like when you breathe in while you're sleeping. It's second nature. You know you gotta breathe. You know it's just like thinking. It just happens. You do it so much, and your body just takes over. And then when it's done, it's like, all right, we're done.
You're super used to it, right? Yeah.
At first, I would get jittery kind of, and I would think a lot, but.
The more you thought, maybe you screwed up.
Yeah, I would have my hiccups, and once I just got so used to it and finally comfortable, it just happens. And
it kind of clicked together.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? Is the funniest one I like to ask all musicians. So I pulled on a few DJs. I've pulled on some musicians now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, and to say like. What do you do when you're in a situation? It's the same as a speaker, or whatever type of actor or whatever you're doing. Like you're out there, and all of a sudden it's just dry. They're sitting there like laying on the table. Like, what do you do in that situation when you're trying to get that momentum back up so you can kind of get everybody engaged? Because there is going to be times we know it. Like, what are you going through your head? Like, are you guys like, crap, we got to do something different? Like, what's going through your head? Like, how do you kind of counterpart that?
It's tough. Any musician who says they've never had that is a liar, because some of my favorite bands, I guarantee you, have had nights where they play at bartenders and ashtrays, because that's the name of the game. You got to be innovative though. You got to think. You got to be clever. Like sometimes we'll bring like a little mini putt. Like
really?
We'll bring like a little putter like this long and just a couple golf balls in a little hole. Be like, okay. We notice the room's getting a little quiet. Like, okay, next guy to putt this in there, we'll buy him a pitcher of beer or give him some free merch or something.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised if people get up like, oh, I'll do it. Like, and it gets that energy back up too. We also have like a little fishing game too.
No, that's good. It keeps everybody
to get
engaged.
The interaction of the crowd, like, because you're there to put on a show. They want to see a show, and if you see them slouching back, looking a little dry, you're not really doing your job.
No,
so
exactly.
You got to think of anything you possibly can. If you didn't do it, you didn't try hard enough. That's my way of looking at it.
No, absolutely. It's like, or you suck in that case, but not for you guys. I'm just kidding. I don't want to say it like
maybe
that.
they actually do just
suck. No, it could be that. No, I'm kidding, but that's good. But the last piece I'd like to ask you in this interview, because this is it. Like, I'm a marketing sales kind of guy. Like, that's
100%.
You can tell by the way I talk. Just kidding. But no. So who does your marketing? I'm just curious. Like, who
All
does
of
the
us.
marketing? So you guys are all marketing. Like, you got T-shirts, all that. Like,
yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I think it is. And you focus Instagram, Facebook, all those kind of things.
Yeah, we all divide it individually amongst the three of us. So like, everybody is doing 33% of the 33 point whatever.
0.7.5. No, I'm kidding.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
33% of the work. I'm terrible with computers. Awful. I don't know. I can't even plug in a VCR or anything like that.
Holy crap.
Our drummer Dan, he'll take care of a lot of like the
Logistic.
the technology.
Yeah, the technological shit.
He'll take care of all that. Pardon me.
No, kidding.
But and then Devin and I will take care of a lot of the bookings, do a lot of the driving as well. Dan is responsible for the entire light show, and that is a huge job as well. Like he's controlling the computer. He's got the metronome in his ear as well. Like he's got a lot on his plate, so we just kind of leave him with that, and we'll take care of the bookings and all that. And And then all of us together will take care of merch, marketing stuff.
All the other marketing
Yeah.
stuff.
We get together for that. Like one day a week, we'll have things that got to be addressed should be all addressed together, not individually.
I got to give it to you, and I mean this full-heartedly too. Not just as a friend. I've known you for quite some time now. I found, like, honestly, and like I said, I like marketing and everything like that. I find for the city side where you've done a phenomenal job. Like, you guys have been able to kind of build a brand awareness, a brand equity towards it. Yeah. And in a sense, I want to kind of close this off on the question that, I see there's a lot of musicians out there. There's a lot of hustlers, people trying to make it in that industry. And I think you guys have done, in Sudbury, probably the best job, I would argue. And I don't say that biasly, but I think you really have done a great job. Do you guys compete against each other? I asked that to Thea last week when she was on the show. Like, is it almost as if you're competing, or are you just part of the group? At the end of the day, someone wants to win. I mean, I'm competitive in whatever I'm doing. Like, and I'm humble in that way. Like, and some people would argue different, but we're in it to win. We're in it to win, go forward. Absolutely. Like, how do you feel about that competitive aspect? Like, it's like, obviously, you want to land shows, you guys want to get paid, you want to get that brand awareness and get there. Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I wouldn't see it as a competition. I wouldn't see it as a competition because, and it's different for us as well because there's not too many bands in town that, a lot of the music in town is predominantly like folk, indie rock type. Yeah. Like that's the majority of the time that you'll see that. But I don't like to think of it as a competition because at the end of the day, we all have the same goal in sight. Like if we can work together, then maybe we can help each other get there. You never know. Totally. Just because one person makes it doesn't mean, if anything, that just shows you it's possible.
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't you want to help each other get there? And if you can make it together, then I see that as even more of a victory, 100%.
I think that's huge. No, I think that's really good. So the finishing question then is what can we expect next? You have shows coming up. What is it? Like, where are you going to see Fortunate Losers here? When I look back in 2 years and I say Brent was on this show, you guys are going to be obviously pushing. You're getting to bigger stages. Like, what's the goal here?
That's the goal. Every year I want to have double the success is what I have. If 2018 isn't twice as good as 2017, then I didn't do my job, or maybe we didn't do our job. You gotta best each year. You gotta best everything that you do. Things coming up. Got 4 or 5 more shows for the rest of the year. It slows down around Christmas time.
Yeah,
we gotta
for sure. Show
the family some love.
Where can we find you? So is it Instagram, Facebook primarily? Where can we find you? Talk it right into the camera.
Instagram, Facebook. Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter.
And it's under the thread Fortunate Losers. Is that at Fortunate Losers? And then this is Brent Boileau. He's tagged right in here.
If you punch in Fortunate Losers anywhere on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, you'll find us, no problem. We got 2 singles out. Solid State, Crown and Vein, those are the 2 singles. Our website, simple, www.fortunatelosers.com. You'll see us right there. That covers, Facebook as well. Facebook is always the go-to.
He's tagged right in it. Brent, I'm rooting for you, man. I honestly am. It's been a pleasure to have you in there. We got this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.